Okay, can you guys hear me now? Hopefully. Looks like my mic's moving up and down, but yes, you can. Okay, good. Thank you for letting me know. Hey, Haley. So I don't remember what I was saying now. Okay, let me fix this chat for you guys. It's a little cut off. As you guys can see, I haven't streamed in a very long time, so bear with me. And I don't have anything planned today. I just figured I would stream and say hello to everyone since it's been a while, and why not do it on the anniversary? Let's see if that fixes that. Batman, I missed it. Dark Knight, I don't know what you guys are talking about, but I'm sure it's interesting. So what's new, everyone? What's new? I'm shocked that this many of you are here, and that's awesome. So thank you. And let me know if my voice is low, and I'll turn it up for you guys. My cat's eating. I sound good. Okay. So, like I said, I didn't have anything planned today. I know that I scheduled a live stream twice and then I canceled. I felt really bad, but things just came up. I've been really busy. So, um, I kept going back and forth when I was sitting at my computer right now. I was like, should I go live? I don't know. I don't know if I feel up to it. I don't really have anything to talk about. Like, but I figured, what the heck, even if it's for 15 minutes, why not? So, and it's funny because, well, I haven't been in a lot of, I haven't been on YouTube. Well, I've been on YouTube, but not in the true crime community at all, except for like, a couple live streams. I did go into Unjustified's live streams a few times. I was a guest I don't know how long ago it was. Dave might know, but probably well over a month ago. But and and so when I go into Unjustified streams, I always get, I get back into, Chris Watts, and I get all pumped up, and then I'm like, okay, yeah, I'm gonna live stream, and I'm gonna get caught up and see if there's anything new or see if anybody has any questions, and then I'm like, day goes by, and I'm like, I don't know if I feel like it anymore. So I keep going back and forth, but my rooster. So I had to get rid of Buddy, unfortunately. Pirate, because my neighbors complained. And what's funny is, it's not really funny, but they're renting. They don't even own. So yeah, so I had to get rid of Buddy. But I did give him to one of the guys that work at the feed store, and he has a farm with a bunch of chickens and roosters. So he was going to take them, and then when I went back in there a couple months later, I asked him if he ended up taking Buddy or what had happened to him, because I was worried about it. And he said that a young boy that lives with his grandma actually ended up taking him, and they have um, like pheasants and some other birds on his grandma's farm, and that was his first rooster, which is Buddy. So that was really cool. That made me feel really good. So I'm glad that he's in a good home, hopefully. And I was never really worried about anyone like eating him because he's so scrawny and there's like no meat on him anyways. So so that's good. I mean, they could try, but they're not going to get much meat out of him. So probably not, Jen. I don't know. I'm just, it was just nice to hear that he, went to a good home, to a good kid, hopefully. So, but thank you for asking, Pirate. Yeah, hopefully they don't eat him. I can't say he doesn't deserve it. He was a little shit, but no, I did raise him from a little chick, so I loved him. Hey, Hot Ham. So yeah, so like I was saying, I have been stopping into unjustified streams and like get all pumped up, and then I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna stream, and then I'm like, no, I'm not gonna stream. So I just feel like there's not. I don't like to. Well, I have been super busy, but I don't like to stream unless I have some new information for you guys, and I think you guys know that. I've said that before. So um, yeah, Unjustified's great. She has a great channel. And and as I mentioned in my community post, I don't know when I posted it, but one of the more recent ones, um, Unjustified has always given me a voice on her channel. She's never been disrespectful or anything like that. So I really really do appreciate that because it's when I was streaming a lot on here, and I've talked about it before to you guys, but I was being banned from all the true crime channels just for voicing my opinion. And for a long time, I held back and I didn't really say what I wanted to say. And then, but then it got to the point where I was like, I should just say what I want to say. And I'm sorry you guys are staring at a black screen. I don't know why the chat's not working again. It was just working a second ago. Um, but so I don't know what's going on with it. Oh, there. Okay, it all came in at once. Um, and it got really frustrating. It got really frustrating not being able to voice my opinion um, when everybody else could do it without getting banned. Um, you know, I know that my theories are not for everyone, but I think I still, deserve to voice my opinion just like anybody else does, especially when I was never disrespectful. So, hey, Audie. So, um, so yeah, I don't remember what my point was, but hey, Roxy. And I've peeked in a little bit here and there, like on some of the cases, and I would, the more recent cases, and I would notice like all the attention that they're getting. And I think what was the one where I really started noticing things, and then I was like, I don't want to go down that rabbit hole. I think there's a Lee somewhere in their name. No, but really, I think there really is a Lee. But I can't remember which one it was. But I just knew that if I started to research it, I would have to go down that rabbit hole, and I just didn't know if I wanted to commit to that. So, because look what happened with the Watts case, I ended up, 4 years later, like that consumed so much of my time. Um, and I have researched a little bit of that Idaho case, Idaho 4. Um, and I do have some notes that I wrote down. If you guys are interested, I'd be curious to see if you guys noticed anything, any symbolism, any of the characteristics that that I've talked about over and over and over again that they always use. Like gaining the widespread media attention and things not adding up, more questions than answers, um, those kind of characteristics. You can't get into any of those cases. Yeah, rabbit holes are time consuming. Yeah. Yeah, the symbolism is getting out of hand. But I don't know. I'm hoping that maybe one day it'll be their downfall. I don't know. I know that the symbolism, it's not solid proof, but when you have, yeah, the Kylie Rodini case, that's the one that I was thinking of, Sunshine. But when you have this symbolism that's just, it's not like here, it's not there, it's all the time, like over and over and over again. It's like how many times can the number 13 pop up? How many times can the name Lee pop up? Like why is it all these true crime like mainstream media cases? There's always a Lee somewhere in the name. Not always, but there's a lot of them. you know? And I don't notice that with any other cases that don't get mainstream. And I know it sounds crazy, but they love their symbolism, you know? It's wild, but it's true. Hey, Vincina. Hey, Mrs. Peacock. Well, thank you, Audie. And I do miss it at times, but I mentioned this in a live stream that I did like a few months ago. It just got really overwhelming and frustrating at the same time because I felt like it was just a um, like an echo chamber. And and I said this in the live stream, um, that I appreciate all of you guys that always come to, that are already pretty much, for the most part, know what's going on. And I appreciate you guys more than you know, but it's just like when I just keep speaking to the same people over and over again, it's like, I can't spread the message. I'm trying to get all this information out, but I just wasn't gaining any, my channel wasn't growing as quickly as I like it to. Um, what do you think about all the lawsuits out just for having an opinion? Which lawsuits are you talking about, Allison? And keep in mind, remember, like I barely know any of these cases that have come out. So, oh, good, Audie, I'm glad. And that's the thing is like I never expected to wake everybody up. Like it's it takes a lot of time. Like some people, they might watch 3 streams, I don't know, of mine, and start to see things, or differently, or they might never. It took me a very long time, and I talked about this before as well. It took me a long time to start to realize that things weren't right. um, that the information that we were being fed, but it just takes like a certain event or something to kind of make someone look at things differently. And that, for me, as I mentioned before in my past live streams, was 9/11. 9/11 did not add up. And that's when I started doing my own research and going, okay, why is this not making sense? Like, how did this building fall, um, you know, under its footprint at free fall speed? And that's just one example. So I know that a subscriber of mine mentioned that her kind of awakening was the whole Disney symbolism. And so whatever event or um, yeah, whatever event that it is, it doesn't matter. But it just takes like that one to kind of open up someone's eyes. But the person has to be willing to do the research. I can only give you guys as much as I know and what I've learned. And I just, Nelly, thank you. You didn't have to do that. And hello. Um, but yeah, they have to be like willing to do the research, just like I did. And when I started to notice that things weren't right, that was, quite a few years ago when not as much information was scrubbed from the internet. These days, you can hardly find anything. Like on Sandy Hook or 9/11, you can find some information, but not like, you know, not the good stuff, just the narrative. Oh, like, okay, lawsuit against Upchurch. Now, I had some. I don't know what to think of Upchurch. It's a good question, Allison. I did have some thoughts on him back when it was a hot case, but I don't know if he's like a controlled opposition or what's going. But I, at this point, it's like it's the world's a stage. Everything is it's a stage, and they're just actors. But what are they suing him for, Allison? Or allegedly suing him for? Oh, Frankie Rusek is doing that. Oh, of course. Like I often wonder, like I would if I ever do have time, I would like to go back to some of these older cases and do some research on those and see if there's some similarities to these newer cases. What's the one with I always forget her name. The one with the twin boys, and she built her house to look like the Home Alone house. Um, Darley, something like that. Starts with a D. Yeah, I looked into that case a little bit, and I have seen certain things that I think that might be an organized case. But again, I don't like to say that too much unless I've done research. Like with the Watts case, like I can 100% say without a doubt that it was organized. But I've done so much research on it. It's just so much to where I'm confident to say that. Yes, Darlie. Darlie. Notice the lie in there? Darlie. Another Lee. And I get it. Lee's a common name. And a common what do they call those at the end of a sentence? I can never think of it. But anyway, if it ends in ly or Lee, it's common. But they do pop up a lot. Hey, Steph. And is Darlie the one that had the scar on her neck? Doesn't she have a scar on her neck? From what I remember. Because she slit her throat, right? Or she attempted to kill herself by slitting her throat. Yeah, that's true, Steph. And that's hard to argue when they show autopsy photos. But again, I know it's crazy when I say this, but photos are just photos. The photos don't prove anything. For example, um, the picture of the hazmat crew pulling the girls from the oil tanks. Do we actually see the girls being pulled from the oil tanks? No. All we see are firemen and hazmat crew standing around oil tanks and them telling us in a caption below it saying that they're pulling, Bella and Cece out of the oil tanks. It doesn't make it true. It's just something that we're being told. And I know that's hard for a lot of people to grasp. Well, like, why would they say that? Why would they? But that's how easy it is to manipulate somebody or the public by just simply saying that this is what's happening, if that makes sense. Wait, let me scroll up here. Oh yeah, the way they just let Kessinger walk all over them. Yeah, you know, I always say this too, and I just said this in a Justified stream. Nothing was done. Like I don't want to say nothing, but the majority of the case, a lot of it was not even done by the book. Like if you go and watch any of those true crime shows, and you got to remember that they are still television shows. They're there for entertainment, but those shows are like murder tapes. I really recommend people to watch a lot. And what's the other one? It's the one where they capture or not capture, but they solve cases by all the CCTV footage or video cameras on neighbors' homes and whatnot. Those ones are going to be the closest thing you're going to get to an actual real case. And if you watch those, it's nothing like the Watts case at all. Oh, and Jen, the deep fakes, that's going to be interesting in the next few years. It's already scary. People believe, most people already believe what they hear and are told and see as it is. So with these deep fakes, I mean, it's only things are only going to get worse. Hey Michelle, great live earlier. I was driving, so I couldn't comment too much. But Jen, you know about the surveillance role players? Yeah, that's an interesting thing too. I don't know if you guys have heard of targeted individuals or gang stalking, but yeah, what Jen just mentioned is very interesting. Oh, that's nice, Mrs. Peacock. Hopefully, I don't get on one of my rants, though. I'll try not to do that. I don't think I will. Unless somebody says something about the Rusex, then I might, because I feel like they trigger me. Jeffrey Dahmer. Yeah, I'd like to look into that case too, Allison. What's another one that I wanted to look into? Like even I know it sounds crazy, but even the the Manson murders, and I know that there was autopsy photos, but it's just like, I mean, who knows how far back they've gone? Because like I've always said, there's a reason why certain cases go public and why they just blow up over other ones. Yeah, Jen, this I can't believe you know about the surveillance role players. That's awesome because that's yeah, that's another rabbit hole for sure. Oh, and I think Delphi stuff is one, and I think from what I remember, you had kind of mixed reviews on it. But Delphi is one of those cases I feel from what I've covered so far, it's one of those cases again where it's more questions than answers. It's just never ending. Like nothing ever comes from it. Oh yeah, true crime is a huge, 'cause there's always going to be death. There's always going to be murder. So it's a huge moneymaker, 100%. John Wayne Gacy is too. I don't doubt it. I really don't doubt it. I mean, they've been doing, psychological operations and false flags since, like 100 years ago. Some bigger than others. But and I was actually going to mention this a little bit ago when I was talking about, waking up um, because of 9/11. I would watch all these true crime, on on the cable channels, and I believed that they were all true. I How was I supposed to know? Like, I didn't know. Why would they lie about true crime cases or murder cases? But now it makes sense. Yeah, don't watch your television. Exactly, Michelle. I don't even remember the last movie I've watched. Oh, actually, I do. Okay, so it was the creators of or producers of Reno 911. I think it was called Hell Baby or something. It was so stupid, but it was like a scary movie spoof, and it was one of those like curiosity ones where I just kind of clicked on it, and then I got caught watching the whole thing. So But yeah, it's pretty stupid. But Reno 911's pretty funny. So OJ Simpson, yeah. See, and I think OJ was like a huge distraction, and most of these cases are distractions, like the Titan submarine that just went down. I did follow that a little bit because I don't watch the news. I don't. It's all the same thing, and it's pointless to me. So, but I did. Everyone was talking, of course, about this Titan submarine and these passengers that were on it, or this crew, and I just started like seeing just certain things that just don't make sense. And not only that, but it disappeared when they were 13,000 feet below the surface. It's like, oh, there's that 13 again. It's like, I was telling someone this the other day. I said, you would think that they would switch up the numbers, like 13, 33. It's getting real old. Try to be a little bit original, but just jokingly. But yeah, it's crazy. So, but my point was is that I do think that Titan submarine was a distraction. Now, for what? I don't know. Probably something with Biden. I don't. So there was something going on. I can't remember specifically that I saw someone mention, but I think it might have been Ben Shapiro. I think Ben Shapiro mentioned it, but I can't remember what he said. There was something going on with Biden. I created a monster out of you, Allison. Yeah. I'm sorry about that. It's for your own good, I swear. And it just doesn't make any sense. Like you have these billionaires that are probably pretty smart if they're billionaires, and they're gonna go on this Titan submarine that wasn't approved by NASA or anything like that. Not that NASA counts, but who cares if it's approved by NASA? Um, I have disdain for NASA, but um, I just it's just one of those things. It's just that things just didn't make sense. Shoot, there was something else that I was just gonna say and I lost it. What was it? I'll remember it. I can't remember. I think it was gonna be good. I think, but I don't know. Oh, yeah, and that's the thing too, Michelle, is it's like how convenient that it imploded. So now there's no evidence, there's no bodies, everything's just gone. Just like these murder cases, like the evidence is always goes missing or it's tainted, you know. It's just very, very convenient a lot of the times. So I heard a little bit about Maui in your stream today, Michelle. So is there a fire, right? I don't know how bad they are, but when you were talking about the fires being selective, it reminded me of the not Colorado fires, the California fires, where you know these wildfires in California literally just destroyed to like there was nothing left. This huge, house, and then right next to it, like their neighbor's house is just perfectly fine, like not a scratch on it. And it's like, I don't think that's how wildfires work. Cars are just completely trashed, and then there's a tree right next to it that's just untouched. And um, it's directed energy for sure, in my opinion. There was another thing that I was saying that it was a huge distraction. I know it's just pretty much any of these new, and it doesn't have to be true crime. Any of these news stories where everybody's talking about it. It's all over every news channel, and it's just for a week straight, 2 weeks straight, and then all of a sudden it's just like boom, it's gone. It's like, wait, what happened? Everybody's talking about it. Now it's just gone. We're not talking about it anymore. Those are the ones that are the distractions for sure. Yeah, all the trees still standing. Yeah. Yeah, if you ever read about do, I probably shouldn't even say that on here, but you know what? I don't care. But yeah, directed energy weapons. If you guys have a chance, go down that rabbit hole. That's scary, fascinating, and scary at the same time. Oh, they do, Kels. I'll have to check it out. Yeah, I Pet Goat 1 and 2 is that's awesome videos. Those are awesome videos. I show that to a lot of people. Oh, Carly Russell. That's another one. Um, but a distraction from what, or what are they trying? There's always a motive. You just got to figure out what it is. I personally don't think, Steph, that it was a ritualistic sacrifice. I had to like say that slow. I had a feeling I was going to mess it up. No, I don't think it was a sacrifice, and I've been asked that question a few times over the years. Um, I did, it did cross my mind, but here's the thing with psychological operations or false flags. Like, yes, can people actually die? Of course. And it depends on what the event is. They might have to, um, you know, kill innocent people in order to push their agenda. But it's a lot easier to fake deaths than it would be to actually, you know, murder people to push an agenda, if that makes sense. So I've used this example before, like with 9/11. You had the wives of the firemen. I think there was like 4 or 5 of them. They made a huge fuss about, they're like, why are things not adding up? Why are our husbands no longer here? Why are they dead? What's, so they just kept hounding and hounding and hounding. And that's what they want to try to avoid. They don't want people asking questions. So it's a lot easier to just fake deaths, so you don't have family members going, what's going on? Why aren't my family members here? We want answers. And that's one of the big things that I brought up about the Rusex is, you know, for me personally, if Shanann was my daughter and Belle and Cece were my grandchildren, I would be pounding at Rourke's door saying, what the fuck is going on? Why are my loved ones not here anymore? Why is nothing adding up in this case? Why did you let the mistress go free? Why didn't you treat her as a suspect? Why didn't you treat Nicole Atkinson as a suspect? Everyone should be treated as a suspect. I want to make sure that you guys cleared everyone's name as a suspect. But we didn't get that from the Rusex at all. They're too busy convincing us that there's no conspiracy and that, law enforcement did a fantastic job. It's just not, everyone acts different when, in a tragic situation or with death, but it's just not what we would typically see from loved ones that are, that whose loved ones were tragically murdered or whatever. No, Michelle, I did it. That's interesting as well. Oh, I've been hearing a lot about BlackRock recently too, Jen. And to point out something with the Idaho 4, wasn't it in Moscow, Idaho? And don't we have something going on in Moscow at the moment, or did? So I found that interesting. I have some other notes that I did scribble down if you guys are interested for the Idaho case, but not too many. Because, like I said, I was like, oh man, I ended up clicking on one mainstream media video to kind of give me the rundown of the case, and I was like, oh, I'm gonna regret this. I'm gonna regret this so bad. But luckily, I didn't get too far in the hole, so that's good. Because then I would have had to commit. Yeah, exactly, Jen. Yeah, and I've mentioned that a lot. It's like so many people are just obsessed with these cases, like with the Watts case, especially, and just all these true crime, cases that go to mainstream. But there's so many people that tragically die every day to murder, like innocent people, that you know, nobody's trying to find out what happened to them. Nobody, it's just like, it's very, very sad. Hey, Deb. Oh, speaking of Rourke, what's with he did another interview with his wife or something? I didn't even bother to watch it. I'm like, I thought about it, but then I'm like, no, it's not going to tell me anything. It's just going to irritate me. It's like, why don't they just go away? Like, we just go away. Like, go away, Rusex. Go away, Rourke. All right, let's see. I'm going to pull up the notes that I do have for the Idaho murders. But yeah, Moscow. That was interesting. Oh, and of course it's the body cam footage. How convenient that what's his name? I don't even know his name. Colbrier, is it David? Brian, David? I don't know. See, I don't even know. Um, but how convenient, he gets pulled over just like gosh, I'm like gonna have like space cadet moments right now. Brian Laundrie, they got pulled over. How convenient. So you got the body cam footage that really pulls people in, you know, like just it just so happens that all these murderers just get pulled over by police just, a little bit prior to them committing these alleged murders. So I find that interesting as well. The Summer Wells case, yeah, that's in my opinion definitely a there was so much symbolism in that case. Summer Wells, there was a ton of symbolism, and the Brian Laundrie case, a lot of symbolism. So much symbolism. It's crazy. You think there's child trafficking connected stuff? Yeah, there could be. That's the hints that I was getting. But maybe they want you to think that. I don't know. But oh yeah, definitely, Michelle. Okay, so let me pull up these notes here. Display capture. Mm. Oh, not color source. Okay. Okay, that didn't work. Okay, bear with me, you guys. Um, remove window. Let's do window capture. There we go. Okay. Hopefully you guys can see this. Okay. But now I can't see your chat. Okay. Here we go. Wait, can you guys see the notes that I put or no? I don't think you guys can. Oh, it's just delayed. Okay. Wait for it. If you Google NK, it comes up as an actress. Yeah. I'm not surprised by that. Yeah, that's true as well, Jen. You know, not everybody has to know what's going on. The less people know, the better. Is it really that delayed? Or did I not do it right? Sorry, guys. Like talking to myself. Okay. Um. Oh, there we go. Okay, it's really delayed. Weird. Okay. So now where are my notes? Okay. So first thing I notice, obviously, November 13th. Seems like murders seem to happen a lot on those on that date. Now does that because I know I'll get critics and they'll go, well, just because it's on the 13th doesn't mean that it's orchestrated. And I go, of course, I know that. That would be silly to think that, you know. Um, but yeah, it seems to be pretty common. Um, so I don't know if I'm saying this right, but Mogan, is that her last name, right? I forgot her first name, but one of the victims, um, also spelled Magin or Maggot, which is funny because it's my name, but it's like the E and the A are switched. But anyway, I thought that was funny. So Mogan is the Star of David, which is also a pentagram, and with the Watts case and Summer Wells and all these other cases, so much occult symbolism. Even in um, one of the school shootings, um, one of the witnesses or one of the students was wearing a Star of David around her neck as well. So that likes to pop up a lot, that symbol. Triangles as well. Um, and then you have Kaylee Lee, of course. And then, I don't know, gone calves probably means something. Kaylee's gone. She's gone. She was murdered. I don't know. That might be stretching, but we do have the Lee in there. So the video that I did watch, or the documentary, was ABC 2020. And the reporter that was speaking in the documentary said, and eerily, some of the last moments of their lives were caught on video. And it's like, oh, how convenient. We got some video footage that shows them alive, but tells us nothing. That everybody's gonna try to scrutinize and analyze, and they're gonna say, I saw this and that, just like with the driveway footage with Chris Watts, you know. And I've been seeing that other footage I didn't watch, that everybody in the Idaho forest is analyzing and starting to see things that are not there or whatever they want to see. So I found that interesting. So the Idaho Vandals mascot. this is pretty good. So let me pull that up for you guys if I can. I remember how to do this because I haven't used OBS a long time. Hey Jack, how are you? Yeah, so the Idaho mascot is interesting. So let's see what's a good one. Okay, so we'll do Okay, can you give me a smaller picture of it? Okay, let me take this away and then we'll do. Move up, please. And you guys can't see it, right? Shoot. Okay. Let's do display capture. Okay. So I got it. I got it. Hey, Allie. Um, so here's the Idaho Vandal. First thing I noticed was him winking. And I don't know if all of you are familiar with the all-seeing eye, but it's a very occultic symbol. You'll see a lot of the celebrities doing it. Hey, Swamp Lover. Long time no see. Um, yeah, so you'll see a lot of the celebrities covering one eye to represent that all-seeing eye, like we see on the $1 bill on the pyramid. So there's that, and then of course you have his like little wings, like the I don't know if it's like he's a vandal, he's not a Viking, but he's got his helmet with the wings on each side, which could represent the Masonic pillars. But not only that, but also duality. I talk about that a lot in my past videos and live streams. Is the side by side duality. Another example is the wings on um, the Gabby Petito in the Gabby Petito case. She's got those angel wings that are painted on the wall behind her. That also represents duality. So, and that's just one example. Not really working on any specific case. I just haven't streamed on here in a long time, Swamp Lover, and I wanted to say hi to everybody. But the Idaho case is what I'm covering a little bit of right now. Just some little notes that I took down. Yeah, I'm alive. Yeah. Um, so yeah, so that was pretty interesting with the mascot. I got excited about that one. I was like, there's got to be something with this school. Um, yeah, sunflowers are, it's always sunflowers in these at the funerals too. I mean, sunflowers are pretty. They're really pretty flowers, and they're you can have whatever flowers you want at funerals. I just find it interesting that there always seem to be sunflowers at these ones. And wasn't the Idaho 4 the funeral for them was televised, right? Or they streamed it? I'm pretty sure because I think I was looking for tears when I watched some of it, and I didn't see any. I see a lot of forced uh, or trying to force tears, but I didn't see any actual liquid coming down. Liquid. That was a weird word. I don't know why I use that for tears, but I mean it is liquid. But anyways, um, but yeah. So like the Watts case, the Rusiks streamed the funeral on Facebook for everybody to see, and then you have Kylie Rodini, I think was probably, or what's the I'm like, it's been so long. Um, the one where she was like 13, she was a cheerleader. Remind me, I know you guys in chat will know if you can, but her funeral was streamed live for everyone to see. So they always are making these funerals and memorials, I guess you would call them, right? Um, just available to the public. And why do they do that? To pull at heartstrings. Because what better way to pull people in and get them emotional and uh, control them that way than through streaming the funerals. Jen. Yeah, Dieter was cute. Um, so yeah, again, I don't remember what my point was there. I always do that, um, but yeah, they're always those funerals and the memorials are quite a few of them recently have been streamed to the public, so or made available to the public. Hey, free the plants. Specifically, I don't know what the sunflower means. I just know that it's um super important to Freemasons. I could grab my Freemason book if I knew where it was, and I could look it up because it did say it in there. I actually took a picture out of that book, um, the secret teachings of all ages. I took a picture of the sunflower symbolism for one of my videos for the Watts case, from it. So, but yes, the sunflowers are key. And shoes. Oh yeah, Swampflower. I just saw that. That's funny. Yeah, the shoes. I know, and I know it sounds ridiculous, you guys, but when you see random shoes popping up in these cases, um, yeah, it definitely means something. And I know people are like, here she goes again with the shoes, shoes. But I can't, and I laugh about it every time because it's absolutely ridiculous. But it is like, and Ole Damengard, the conspiracy theorist speaker, um, he is the one that introduced me to all the shoes in these cases. So if you guys have not, I highly recommend finding Ole Damengard and watching any of his content, but the shoes specifically. Oh, the Idaho 4, November 13th, Swamp Lover. Okay, so that's okay. So there's the mascot. So I'm gonna go to my notes again here. Window capture. Okay, so okay, Idaho Vandals mascot. We covered that. Um, Now I did mark this down. It could be stretching, but I did find it interesting that again there's footage. That just happened to conveniently, catch them on footage, by that food truck. And again, it tells us nothing. It shows nothing. All it shows is but everybody's gonna analyze it. Everyone's gonna try to solve it. Everyone's gonna say that they saw this. And this is what they're doing. And da da da. And it's just yada 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 on and on and on. But I did find it interesting that it was at 1:30 a.m. approximately, which is year 13 again. Um, and sometimes these could be stretching, but I tend to not. I don't think so. But I do mark them just in case, because if the 13 keeps coming up, or the 33, or the triangles, or the sunflowers, or the um, and November 13th is, yeah, it's a big one. Um, didn't uh, the Carly one? Didn't Carly, was that the 13th too, or no? I could be wrong on that. Okay, so this was interesting. On the ABC documentary, they are calling out cyber sleuths, quote unquote, on social media, um, saying that they're causing more difficulty towards the case, and they're causing confusion and yada yada yada. So they're going after you know these true crime uh, YouTubers that are covering these cases. And that goes back to what I talked about before with the Watts case, how they're trying to take away our freedom of speech, the Section 230. Um, and there's this just thing. There's a podcast that I watched. He's pretty big. They were talking about it, and they were talking about the Section 230. And that doesn't even they weren't even talking anything that had to do with true crime, but just in general, how these elites these companies are going after our free speech. And again, it might not happen today, it might not happen tomorrow, but it's gonna happen, and it's already started happening. Um, on all of social media. So maybe it just hasn't got to the true crime community yet. But hey, Donna. Um, but yeah, so I find that interesting that they're kind of going after the cyber sleuths, they call it. Hey, Spacebound, good to see you. And then, of course, more questions and answers. There's always more questions and answers. There's so much information in these cases, all these data dumps. I keep seeing every time I log onto YouTube, it's you know, the Idaho 4, Brian, I don't, what's his name? I should probably look it up again. Brian Koberger, right? Um, it's another data dump, it's another document dump, and it's this and that. And everyone's just like the Watts case. So it's just more information and filler for people in the true crime community to dissect and to keep distracted from what's really going on that's important around us, in my opinion. Oh yeah, I'm sure Swamp Lover. I'm sure he sold his soul. A lot of them do. Just like um, Ellen DeGeneres. Yeah, which is disappointing because I thought she was really funny, and then she sold her soul, and then I was like, yeah, you kind of suck. But whatever. Is King Chucky the Antichrist? What are you talking about, Jack? Oh, I didn't hear about the freedom of speech. I did hear the controversy about his song Spaceman, but I didn't hear about free speech. That's interesting. Yeah, the Watts case does not add up at all. You think Prince sold his soul? That's disappointing too because I was hoping Prince is pretty badass or was pretty badass. But either that or he, because I know that he was talking chemtrails and stuff on that talk show and kind of voicing out a little bit. So maybe they silenced him. I don't know. Yeah, Enchanted Life Path. Actually, I found their video on BitChute on Summer Wells, and I was like, yes, someone else is seeing all this too. This is great. Like thank goodness, because I felt like I was the only one that was covering the symbolism and the discrepancies and all that in the true crime cases. So that was awesome. Yeah, yeah. Enchanted does good work. They don't even own their soul. Yeah, I don't think they ever had souls to begin with, to be honest with you. But what exactly? I'd be curious, Donna. In a nutshell, what did it say about Prince that you read? Yeah, that's true, Michelle. I watched oh my gosh, I have such space cadet moments today. Crow 777. He's someone I haven't listened to him in a long time, but I think he used to have on YouTube the first hour of his podcast on YouTube, and then they would get to more of the stuff that they couldn't talk about in the second hour. So you would have to go to his website and you know become a member to hear the second half. But he did provide the first half, which is cool. But now I noticed that all of his videos that he's uploading are only um, they're only like a minute long, minute and a half, and so I think that YouTube got him too. So he doesn't even do the first hours. But um, shoot, I'm gonna lose my train of thought again. What was my point? Oh, Michelle's comment. I watched or listened to a podcast of Crow 777, and he was talking about how like all of these musicians, not all of them, but the majority of them, they're they weren't these like wonderful stories about how they were at the right place at the right time, and like these like and how they got famous and they came from being a nobody. Like that he was explaining how the majority of them were already chosen to be famous. So I think one of the examples is, and I don't want to put out any disinformation, but from what I remember from his podcast, Jim Morrison. Jim Morrison was one of those where he wasn't in the right place at the right time. His daddy was um, a colonel or a lieutenant or something in the Navy, and his dad was also the one of the ones who um, had their hand in the Pearl Harbor in Pearl Harbor. So, which is a lot of people believe was a false flag as well. Um, so I found that interesting. But yeah, so Michelle, about your comment, it seems like they're all chosen. Yeah, and definitely sold their souls. Madonna being one of them. Lady Gaga, another one. Can't stand either one of those. It's in Sinead O'Connor's autobiography. She wrote about being invited to his house, so she went alone, and he attacked her. He said his pupils disappeared and his eyes went completely white. Interesting. Take, for instance, when there are riots, the news will make it appear a whole city is going down when in reality it's 2 blocks. Yeah, it's just it's crazy how easy it is for mainstream media or anyone, even someone on just a regular YouTuber can manipulate people just with certain tactics and imagery. It's really scary. I don't know. It's not scary, but I mean it's scary is the wrong word. Well, it's kind of scary because, like I said earlier, people already believe the majority of people already believe what they're told and what they see, without ever doing any research, even vetting the information. So with the deep fake and all the CGI, the green screens, it's yeah, like I said, it's only going to get worse. Yeah, and I don't know what this whole Barbie thing's about, but I didn't even want to go there. Yeah, I'm pretty sure, Allie, that if reptilians do exist, um, if it's possible that they do, that Lady Gaga is either alien or reptilian. Um, Elon Musk also. um, what's the other one? Facebook guy. I'm just like I'm so space cadet today, but those two for sure. Those three. Nancy Pelosi, more than likely one. Like, it's funny. She has to choose to go into the real world. I haven't, Donna, but I did. I've seen it mentioned briefly. All I saw was that it was why so and so doesn't want you to see Sound of Freedom, but I will watch it if you recommend it. Mark Zuckerberg, yes, thank you, Ali. Oh, really? Freely Plants? Interesting. Hey, Summer. There's so much weird shit I've seen though, like just recently, but it's like I'm shocked, but then I'm not shocked at the same time. That makes sense. So that's all my notes on the Idaho 4. Oh, wait, is that all of them? Wait, oh, let me scroll. I think I do have more. I think I do. I think I have a couple more. Ah, yes. Okay. Um, oh, the last one. So the Amityville murders happened on November 13th, 1974 at 112 Ocean Avenue. The address where the four were murdered, allegedly, is at 1112, right? Or correct, I should say. Something like that. So it's like, what are the odds of that? And again, you have Moscow with everything that's going, Moscow, Idaho, and then everything that's going on in Russia. So, and I've talked about this several times before, they will literally give us clues for what they're planning to do next, or when the next um, show where it's going to be or what it's going to be. What's Oppenheimer? I saw someone else mention that earlier. I don't know what that is or who that is. Yeah, what they don't want us to see. Yeah, they only show us what they want us to see. That's for sure. And even like the whole Trump thing, the I can't even think. I was gonna say the indictment, right? He's getting indicted, but also the just any of that stuff that's in the mainstream media. It's all a distraction. You have um I always say her name wrong. Just saying, just whatever Maxwell, with the Harvey Weinstein. That was huge. It was all over the place. It's all mainstream media was talking about for I don't know how long, but for a very long time. And and we're waiting for something to happen to Maxwell or something, or what's it, but nothing ever happens. Like it just goes away, and it's like, where did it go? Like that was the biggest thing on the news, and now Maxwell, like we're just not talking about her anymore. Like it, so they're in my opinion, it's all distraction. Any of these news stories where it's all over the place on every single channel, just over and over, and people are just glued to it. It's try to look for what's going on at that particular time. What are they trying to distract us from? And a lot of times too, these events will happen around an election. I've noticed. So again, usually it's a distraction. You just have to figure out what that distraction is. Yeah, totally, Allie. Yeah, Shakespeare said it. The world's a stage, for sure. I mean, there's just several of these events where they've gone back. It takes them years to plan these things out. Years. And the predictive programming can date that for us a lot of the time. Like I wouldn't be surprised if even the Amityville horror was, I don't know. Like and I won't say it unless I know for sure. And like I mentioned earlier, the Watts case, 100%. I've only had one theory and one theory only, and I've never changed it one time. But just like, you know, all these other people, like I truly believed. I watched Chris Watts, stand on his porch, and I was like, this guy's a monster. I remember specifically when I was in Colorado and Dr. Phil came on and I said, this guy, he's guilty. 100% guilty. This guy's a douche. Totally killed his family, right? Um, totally believed it. And the first thing I did when I got home is I got on YouTube and I started looking up all the Watts case, just like hundreds of other people did, because they were just like it just it was shocking, and it's like how could this guy put his kill his wife and bury her in a shallow grave and then kill his babies and put them in oil tanks, how more horrific can you get, right? And so it worked. It really worked. By Chris standing on his front porch like that was genius. Um, calling the news crew there to interview him. It's just it just worked out so perfect for them. And even though, in my opinion, that Chris was a terrible, terrible actor, it actually worked out in their favor, unfortunately, for them. For me, for us. But so my point was that I always do that. I always go on this like little rant, and then I'm gonna make a point, and then I forget. But my point was that I believed it just like everybody else. But it wasn't until I started to notice that this weird things. I'm like, why is everything video recorded? Why, like just it didn't make sense. And then it made me more interested. And then when the Discovery came out, I was like, okay, I got to check this out. And then it was just like one after another. And I'm like, why do I keep seeing all these same characteristics that, you know, someone like Ole Damengard pointed out to me? Um, like, is this possible? Like, could it? No, they couldn't be orchestrating these true crime cases. What would be the motive for that? Um, but I couldn't ignore it. I couldn't ignore all the characteristics that I was, taught and have seen in these other, events that, in my opinion, and many others, were orchestrated. So all the UFOs and the aliens. So Kels, I I don't know what to think about aliens. Like at one point, if you asked me maybe like I don't know 5 years ago, 6 years ago, I would say yeah. I don't think that we're the only ones in this solar system. Uh, that would be impossible, right? That'd be impossible to think that we're the only ones. Um, so had you asked me then, that's what I would have said. Now I tend to lean more at us being the only ones. And I don't want to get too much into that, but I think I don't know about the alien. I think they're. I just don't know enough about it to really give an opinion. Besides that, they're preparing us for something. No, I haven't, Jen, and I think you asked me that during Unjustified stream, and I know I told you that I would look it up, so I will. I'm 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 afraid to because I don't want to go down a rabbit hole, and I will blame you if I do. By the way, hey views, yeah, good old Ole, yeah, he taught me so much, and I can't recommend him enough to my viewers because he really really opened my eyes to a lot of things. Like William Cooper is another one. I know a lot of people will say now that he was a controlled opposition, like Alex Jones, and he worked for the CIA and da da da. But you know maybe that's the case, but that's when you can't listen to everything that someone says. You have to take it with a grain of salt and use that information um, to the best of your ability, and you can't vet everything that someone says, but um, just because they sound like they know what they're talking about or they've said a lot of things that are factual and do make sense, that doesn't necessarily mean that they're 100% genuine. But regardless if Alex Jones is controlled opposition or if William Cooper was controlled opposition, I still learned a lot. So, and with controlled opposition, they're gonna put out a lot of factual information, but they're also going to put out some disinformation. So you just have to try to decipher which is the factual and which is not. Like that's what kind of sucks about it. But hey, Susan. But yeah, so William Cooper has he taught me so much. Ole Damagard and what can I think of his name? It will come to me. Hey, Renee. How are you? Yeah, Alex Jones is pretty. He can get pretty obnoxious, but and I feel like okay, for example, with Alex Jones, I don't think that he's been canceled yet. I haven't watched him in a very long time, but I think he's still probably on YouTube or some sort of platform. So when I see someone who's really big, who has a lot of followers, and who's speaking out about government corruption and those kind of things, and they haven't been canceled or shadow banned, it makes me kind of think that maybe they're probably controlled opposition because anybody that speaks out against the narrative and government corruption or anything like that are usually canceled. So if they're not, and if they're still on social media like YouTube, it makes me think twice for sure. Now, Ole Damagard, he was on YouTube. He had, I believe, over it was either a million, between 500,000 and a million. I know it's kind of a big uh, range there, but he was still pretty big. And he got canceled. YouTube canceled him. It wasn't like kind of cancel him. Like no, they canceled him. So now he only has his website to get this information out to people. Um, so if you look at it that way, it's kind of telling for me. Alex Jones is on the London Real, and I've watched some of London Real, and I do like the the podcast that they covered and the interviews that they did with or not with, but covering the the pandemic. But I haven't watched a lot of London Real since then. So Whitney Webb, I don't think I've heard of her views. Who is she? What I've been watching most recently is I think the channel's it's Value Entertainment, but the abbreviation is PBD. I think Value Entertainment. Yeah, but it's Value Entertainment. I think he's really good. He just had a not just, but recently had Neil deGrasse Tyson on, and oh man, I can't stand that guy. He irks he irks me so much. Just tie a bow around it. Let's just tie. He's cringe. But so he had him on there, and he was calling him out, and you have Neil deGrasse Tyson, that's this astrophysicist, and super intelligent guy, but and he's giving advice on medical advice, and it's like you're not a doctor, you are a astrophysicist slash actor for the people, so but he doesn't get canceled for putting out disinformation, medical disinformation or anything like that, because he's controlled opposition. He's one of those. He's another one of those that sold his soul. Yeah, Pat Bet David. Yes, Jen. Yeah, I knew. I figured you would know. Judy Miskovich. Yeah, I don't know who that is either. I've watched a little bit of Candace Owen. I think she's pretty good. I don't know enough or watch her enough to say whether or not I think she's controlled opposition, but I do like her. I do like a lot of the things that she speaks about. And then, like, a year or so ago or 2 years ago, I liked uh, Trey Gowdy and Jim Jordan, but like even those guys, I'm like, I don't know, like anybody that's in Congress or is a politician, area, I just don't trust them further than I can throw them. So um, I just think they all sleep in the same bed together, and that's that. Yeah, exactly, Summer. That's a great point. Definitely. And I said that before many times about the Rusex. It's like they're saying, oh, you can't talk about the case. We're going to come after you. These YouTubers are making money off the case, or off the deaths of our family. But it's like, you guys went on Dr. Phil. You streamed the funeral live for everybody to see. You publicized the case. you know um so how are you going to publicize, the death of your own family, and then say that we're not allowed to talk about the case? It's just straight hypocrisy, and I just can't believe that more people don't see it. But again, you have that excuse me, that victim mentality, that they push onto people, and you can't attack victims, right? Or you'll be shunned, or you'll be the horrible person, because how dare you call it the Rusiks? They're victims. Like, I mean, you can only be a victim for so long, or use that excuse. And being a victim doesn't give you a right to be a hypocrite, or to um, contradict yourself. So, truth stream. Let me write that down. Truth stream media. And really graceful. Really graceful is a podcast views. I think I know Truth Stream, but oh my god, my pen doesn't work. Okay. My pen's like super loud, probably, huh? Okay. So that's true, Susan. That's also a great point. Yeah, I don't. I'm not. I'm of no political affiliation, Jen. And then, okay, really graceful. Yeah, me too, Jen. I like how she does that as well. And Ben Shapiro is another one. I know that he's kind of obnoxious and loud or whatever, but he he can go through a whole spiel and not even like skip a beat. And again, like, just because I watch these people, I don't agree with everything that Candace Owen says. I don't agree with everything that Ben Shapiro says. And I wish he would talk slower though. He speaks so fast. I mean, I can follow him, but I can't imagine anyone like my mom, or other people being able to follow him. The other day I hit one of his podcasts on just one below normal, and it sounded normal. It sounded regular speed, but I'm like, Spence, slow down. But yeah. Oh, okay, views. Cool. Yeah, I'll look them up. Oh, I know this is completely random, and I know I'm all over the place, but I haven't talked to you guys in a while, or been live. So, these purple lights. Do you guys have the purple street lights in your cities? I'd be curious. I'm not sure, Jen. I just started recently watching him. I mean, I watched a little bit of him here and there over the years, but um, I'm not sure. It's a good question. Yeah, that's what I need to do too, Jen. The last time I was called for jury duty, I was like, I'm unregistering to vote. I'm doing it right now. And then, of course, it was like, you have to go through this whole process. And of course, it never happened, but I'm going to do it because I don't want to get called for jury duty anymore, because it sucks. Pain in the ass. No purple lights there. Well, that's because you're a weird swamp lover. I'm just kidding. You have the no lights, light blue. Oh, that's cool. Yeah, we have a in an area of Scottsdale here. They have that. Yeah, they fought for that. That's pretty cool. Really strong LED lights. A a few bigger cities over. Yes. Okay, so with these purple lights, I heard about them probably like a year and a half ago or so, maybe 2 years ago. Um, and when they when they first went up in some of these cities, people started to ask about them because it was weird, right? They're like normal, the normal thing to do, and say, well, what are these purple lights for? What's this all about? So what they had explained to the public, or the answer that they gave the public, was that they were the lights were defects. There was some sort of defect in the bulbs that were making them purple. Well, 2 years later, these purple lights are still going up in like all these major cities, and I still have not been able to find a somewhat of an answer as to what these purple light bulbs are for. But it's just funny that they're defects, but we're gonna keep putting up defective light bulbs, and nobody can seem to get an answer. It's very strange, but it's very strange and suspicious at the same time. So, do they have electricity in the swamp? A town with purple roofs? I mean, I wouldn't be surprised, and it's weird because the purple lights, from what I've observed, is so down one main street, it'll be purple, 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 and then it'll be the regular like orangish color, and then it'll be one purple, and then it'll be orange, 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 and then it'll be purple, purple, like so. It's not all purple. It's not an even, two purple, two orange, two purple. It's very bizarre, and not only that, but it's difficult to see things. Like it's to me, and they're also putting them in parks. They're putting them in public parks, and you would think that in a public park you would want that very illuminated or lit, especially if there's kids playing at night. You don't want any riffraff going on there when it's all dark. So I found that very strange. Um, and they're hard on the eyes. It's very hard on the eyes, and unless you're in a strip club, if you're in a strip club or something and cool, or you're in a club, but we're not. We're driving, so um, but they're almost like black light. So I wonder if you hypothetically are walking under those lights or driving, and something might happen to light up near or on you. I don't know. That's just crazy conspiracy talk coming from me. But something's going on with those purple lights. So, and we know that they're not defects because they're not going to keep putting defective lights up, um, a year and a half, 2 years later. Yeah, I've seen many purple lights at many strip clubs. I've been to a few strip clubs in my days, but um, I feel like the purple lights should probably stay in the strip clubs. I mean, they're cool and everything, but cool doesn't help my wheel in my head going all crazy, you know, my conspiracy thoughts. But and it's just like you just can't get a straight answer from the company. I can't remember what company it is. It starts with a D. Um, I can't remember. It doesn't matter. But just no straight answer. Hey Octavia, good to see you. Like every time I drive underneath them, I'm like, are my headlights on? Like I can't tell if my headlights are on because they're just that like distracting. You looked it up. It's a safety hazard. They seem like that. Oh, municipal sourcing procurement is in bulk contracts, and these are supposed to last years. Okay. But before they said that they were defective, and that's why they're purple. So that doesn't make sense. So The coroner's name was Shanann Moon. Interesting. Kylie, yeah. And I brought this up before in other live streams, but do you notice how these cases, the majority, not all of them, but the majority of these true crime cases where someone goes missing or murdered, do you notice how they're always attractive? They're always young, they're always beautiful. You know, Shanann was beautiful, and Kylie, um, you know, they're all the Idaho 4, you know, college students, all attractive. Like, so what's gonna like pull people in more or, you know, grab someone's attention? You know, young, good looking, you know, victims or you know, a homeless person, right? Or something. It was like nobody, like no one's, I mean, it's sad, but no one's going to care about this, you know, homeless person that went missing. Like, who cares? But like, but if it's a beautiful blonde, you know, college student, then of course it's going to capture the attention of, of the public more than, you know, someone else, if you get my drift. And that pulls at the heartstrings. It's like, oh my God, she was so beautiful, and how sad, and how, you know, but it like, well, why aren't you sad for all the other murder victims that aren't as beautiful as this person, or you know, because it doesn't pull people in. It doesn't, like, people just don't care. But if it's an attractive blonde, you know, in a it's a mid class family, you know, it's that's devastating, right? Because she was so beautiful, and they just took that beautiful life away so soon, you know. Um, but that's another thing that I've observed as well. And wasn't her autopsy performed in Nevada well after the Harvest Festival in Vegas? And those autopsies pretty much said a lot. Yeah, and the autopsies are always, oh, don't get me started on the autopsies. I can't believe how much research I did on the Watts autopsies. Oh my gosh. But I mean, a good thing is I learned a lot. I learned a lot from the Watts case that I never knew about stuff. I guess you could look at it that way. Yeah, I know. And all the pictures, Jen, or not all of them, but the majority. I always say all. I try not to say that, but the majority of the pictures, you know, like Shanann was all always had makeup on, and all the pictures they've shown, she just looked beautiful, and like, I want to see some real life pictures. Like, show me her just waking up or something with her hair all messy or whatever, you know, like, or where's the there was no pictures of the girls at Christmas. Like, where is it? Did the girls not have Christmas? Did they not have birthdays? Like, we saw one birthday, and that was Cece's, and it was one picture, you know. Um, where's all the family dinners with all the relatives over for Thanksgiving? Where's the Thanksgiving? Like, they're just not there because they only show us what they want us to see. But it's enough. It's enough to convince the masses. And yeah, is there a lot of information in the Watts case? And I was thinking about this again the other day. It's like, yeah, there's so many text messages from Shanann to her friends and da-da-da. But like, I've dated it back to them at minimum 2012 that they started, uh, you know, putting together that case. And that's why these cases and these events, they're not going to have just one motive. There's going to be several motives. If they're going to go through that much trouble to to orchestrate them, there's going to be several motives. Yeah, yeah, I agree, Steph. That's been brought up a lot as well. Um, Leticia, I think I did a live stream, one live stream, that's on Gannon, right? So, um, I did do a live stream. I already said that. And I, from what I did research, I did not believe that it was a true case. And I know just recently the whole controversy about Gannon's autopsy photos coming out. And I was like, I didn't know what to think about all that. And I'm not even going to mention the person's name. We all know who it was. Um, I have not seen the photos. Um, but I, I don't know. I don't know enough about it, but I just found it very interesting that out of, I'm sure, I'm sure there's more than one person that requested those autopsy photos, and it's just interesting to me that specific creator was able to obtain those, but I'm not really sure. um, uh, but it makes me think for sure. Yeah, for sure, Deb. Yeah, it always, yeah, right when it starts to die down to these cases, something, some new information, uh, always comes out. Or perfect example is that Rourke interview that just came out. And again, I haven't watched it, but I found that interesting. It's like, why? Like, go away. Like, seriously, just go away. Why are you doing an interview with, like, what does he do it with his wife or something? Like, what does she have to do with it? The autopsy pics were shown during the trial and on other channels. It was total mob mentality on the one creator. Okay. So you're saying it was unfair towards that specific channel creator, Jen? I believe so, pirate. I mean, but I don't know. I don't really want to like. I just, I, I don't. I mean, charging for photos of it. I don't know. It comes. Yeah. Hey, Sean, how are you? I'm not more. I'm not as worried about as like charging for them. Or I guess not worried. Worried's not the right word. I'm more leaning towards like how they were able to obtain them and the way that they said they obtained them was that it was they didn't ask for them, but they just happened to show up in the documents that they did request, which I find like also strange because like autopsy photos just don't accidentally end up in, you know, requested information that you request from a clerk. You know, it's not something just like, oh, oops, I don't know how it got in there. I don't know. It's just all very bizarre to me, but I'm not shocked either. So you can't see much on the pictures. Okay. Totally went after her because she put them on Patreon, but was actually to keep people from coming across randomly. I mean, but why even go there at all? I don't know. I mean, maybe it was all done on purpose. Maybe they wanted to stir people up, and that's what happened. I mean, everybody was talking about it. I don't know. Oh, and I'm not saying that at all, Jen. I'm just saying that it just there's just certain things that I'm always looking at things differently. I guess it's just I just question, why this creator? Why didn't mainstream media get it, or did they and they didn't release them? or if someone did, how come they weren't leaked a long time ago? So it just makes me curious is all. And John Bonet, I think, is another one of those too. Um, After researching that case a little bit a few years ago, no, it's another one of those where just nothing makes sense. There's all this information on it, but nothing makes sense. Matt, okay, let me write this down. I'm running out of. I gotta. Oh wait, let me grab my notepad. I'm trying to write on a post-it that already has scribble on it because I love hearing about new creators that I haven't heard of. I might have heard quantum, but okay. And I wish I could relay information better to you guys. But I'm just not that well spoken when it comes to this stuff. Like in my head, I mean I do the best that I can, but in my head it all makes sense. And so like if I could relay that from from inside my head, that would be great. But there's just other creators that are a lot better at that than I am. But again, I do my best. And like the psychological aspects that I try to point out and whatnot, I wish I was better at you know explaining those kind of things. But I think I get my point across for the most part. Miles Mathis, yeah, I've gone to his website before views, and he's got a lot of information on his site. And there's some things that it's like it's pretty far fetched, but then again, at at this point in age, there's I don't think anything's far fetched. Even reptilians. you know, um, David Icke. That's what I was trying to think of earlier. Will Cooper, Bill Cooper, Ole Dammingard, and David Icke. I don't agree with like, for example, the reptilian thing or theory that David Icke talks about, but he's another one of those people who has really opened my eyes to a lot of things and taught me a lot of things when it comes to the kind of stuff that I talk about to you guys. Yeah, and the Delphi case is annoying to me because yeah, I said it. They it's like they're not releasing anything. They're just kind of keeping the public like on the edge of their, and then it's like, oh, a new suspect came out. It's like, and if you find the motive behind it, then it's probably going to make a lot of sense, just like the Watts case. Um, you know, Viewing it from my perspective, everything in the Watts case makes so much sense, and it's like, and I can sleep at night. Not that I couldn't before, but it's I'm not going back and forth from theory to theory to theory. What if this and what if that? Like I'm so 110% convinced of my theory, and it's I don't know what kind of word to use. Like it's just refreshing um because I don't have to do that. What if like I don't have all the answers to the Watts case, but I don't need all the answers. I don't have to know who, what, where, when, and why. All I have to know is it's it's orchestrated, that it's not real, and I've, like I said before, I've done enough research, um, and spent many many hours coming to that conclusion. It's not like I came to my conclusion um, just by doing a little bit of research for like a couple weeks or something. Like no, and I think a lot of my critics they tend to accuse me of that. Like, oh, well, just because there's symbolism or just because blah 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 blah, and it's like you're talking like they want me to give them an answer to my theory in like less than 5 minutes. That's impossible. Like, there's just so much, so much information in that Watts case that it's literally impossible. You couldn't even cover it in one live stream. I mean, you guys have seen how many live streams I've done. I repeat myself a lot, but it's for good reason. But again, I didn't just come to this conclusion after like a couple weeks or something. I mean, you're talking 4+ years. So, and I might say, yeah, the Kylie Rodini, I have, um, I'm leaning towards it being this and that. But again, with the Watts case, I can 100% say with confidence that we were we were lied to on a massive scale. Yeah. And what's that saying? It's easier to convince. What is that one? I should know it. Um, it's easier to it's either something to convince someone of a lie than it is to convince someone of the truth. Something like that. It's like Mark. It's a Mark Twain quote, but it's so true. Yeah. Yep. Pirate. I botched it. I'm sorry. Another great small channel is Interesting Books Reviewed. Okay. I appreciate these. And there was another one that someone else mentioned. I can't remember. It started with a K, if anybody remembers. Should have wrote it down. Yes, Jen. That's it. Which is, it's so true. So true. Oh, drop my book. Okay. All right. I'll write this down and then Interesting Books Reviewed. Okay. All right. All right. Well, on that note, I've been live for 2 hours. And I'm hungry. I need to make dinner. So I'm gonna end it there. But thank you so much, everyone, for being here. Like I honestly didn't even think that 2 people would show up. So I'm that's great. So thank you. And I can't say when I'm gonna do a live stream again. It's probably not gonna be scheduled. I'll probably do what I did today and just hit the stream button and hope you guys show up. But I do miss all of you dearly. And again, thank you for just your support and for being here. It really means a lot to me. So, and it was good to see you guys. And I'll see you guys next time. Okay, bye.